So today, after what relatively was a short winter, we're finally back in the Cobra. So let's talk about a few things about it. I hope you guys like the intro. I wanted to do something a little bit different, kind of a little bit of a build up to driving the car for the first time this year. I'll admit, I didn't think I would be driving it yet. I really didn't. I was expecting that after I finally got a Terminator Cobra, that we would have a really long winter and it would be sometime in like late April before I'm even able to drive it. Here we're sitting at March 21st and we're out driving today. Maybe I'll throw up a little counter up there for how many days it actually was, considering I know the day I put it up and the day that I took it out. I actually drove it yesterday. I know I titled this video The First Drive, but it's my first drive with you guys, so that's pretty good, right? I actually took the car out yesterday, just kind of like a shakedown, just to make sure everything was going to be all right. I know I did the video last time with starting it up for the first time, and everything was fine. I didn't really suspect any problems going out and driving it. And when I finally got to, and yesterday it was fine, I had it out a little bit today. So far, everything's fine. So I'm not really too concerned about any problems with it being stored for the winter. So things that have happened with the car since I put it up. Those that watch regularly know that I did the Brembo rebuild. And how did that turn out? They were on the car before I drove it, and now I'm out driving it. So how did it turn out? Well, it stops really good. It was either in desperate need of those being rebuilt, or it was very detrimental to how they were performing due to them being swapped on the wrong sides. So now they're on the right sides, the system's been bled, and the whole calipers have been rebuilt, and it stops really, really good. So it was completely worth it, taking the time and the effort to rebuild those calipers, and the powder coat came out really nice, so I'm happy with that overall. I'm being pretty easy on the car, at least the way until I burn through this first tank of gas with it. It's about, I burned through about half a tank from what I let it run in my garage before driving it to what I drove around yesterday and today. So hopefully by today I'll get it down to like quarter of a tank, fill it back up, and then I can be a little more aggressive with it, which is what I want to do. But I just don't feel really comfortable with the gas that's been sitting in there over the whole winter, with stable in it and everything else, really going out there and getting into boosts and everything like that. So that will come a little bit later when I've gone through this tank and get some fresh fuel back in it again. I know overall there's a lot of people that either own cars they put up for the winter, whether it's Mustangs or anything else, Cobras, Camaros, GTOs, whatever your pick of car is, that don't have to put them up for the winter. There's those that do, like me, and those that don't have to. The southern states, western states, and I always get crapped on, especially by my friends down in Florida, that a friend of mine that used to have a 2003 Terminator like this one, sub 904. He now has a GT 500, and he's always making comments on my Facebook about having to put it up for the winter. So what I basically wanted to say was, going into it, you expect it every year. You know you're gonna have to put it up, and everyone's like, oh, I must suck to, not drive it for months and not get to enjoy it. It does, but when you expect it, it's a little bit less of a blow. But for me, it kind of stung a little bit this time because I got the Cobra pretty late in 2020. I got it in mid-August, and I put the car up the first week of November, so I really only had barely over 2 months with it before I had to stop driving it. And I was okay with it at first. It's like I was looking forward to 2021 with the plans I have with the car, videos that I wanted to make, and everything was pretty much all right until about mid to late January rolled around, and it really started getting to me. It started eating away pretty bad that I couldn't get out and drive the car. I really wanted summer and spring to get here, and like I said at the beginning, I was really expecting this to be a drawn-out springtime. It was just a couple years ago where we had a snowstorm every single week in March for the entire month of March. We didn't start to see any melting until April, and we're in March now, and the roads are good. The salt's been washed off. That's one thing I was really waiting for, was we had a lot of melting the previous 2 weeks, and then it rained, so it washed all the salt off, and any salt that was remaining, because we actually haven't had a snowstorm since mid-February, so that definitely helped as far as everything getting in line to be able to drive it now instead of waiting until much later. And honestly, now that I'm back driving it again, all that time that it spent being put up for the winter time, it's almost like it didn't even happen. It's like it was a bad dream. It almost seems like 2 days ago I was driving the Cobra, when in all reality it's been a significant amount of time from the beginning of November until almost the end of March. But time goes by really quick, and even though I'm just starting driving the car for this year, I'm already dreading putting it away for at the end of the summer. But that's something I'm not going to dwell on until the time comes, because there's plenty of nice weather and plenty of things to do with the car this year, and I'm real excited to do all that stuff and to put it on the channel for you guys to see as well. It would have to take a pretty big turn of events to have the car put back up. It still possibly could snow. I mean, it's in the 60s today. I really think the weather pattern that we're going to be holding for quite a while is here to stay. I'm crossing my fingers on that. So what that means overall is that all the plans that I had with the car, everything is getting bumped up by just a little bit more. Now that I have the car out, I can start doing more things to it. Some of the mods that I had planned, I'm doing at the house. Some of them I'm not. So that required driving the car. So now that it's out, I can definitely start making plans to get those things done. And speaking of that, the very next video that I'm going to put out, I'm actually filming it later today when I get back home, is I'm going to go over all the mods for the car that I bought over the winter time, so you have an idea of what direction the channel is going to go and what's going to be going on with the Cobra as we go throughout the summer. Some of the mods are going to be put on fairly soon, I hope. I'm going to make arrangements to get some of it done. As far as what that is, I'll explain better in the next video. Some of the things I definitely can't do on my own, and I'll explain that in the video for why. But the weather turned really quick, so the video of explaining everything that I got for the car and what's coming up for mods is actually happening outside, because I can film it outside because it's pretty nice out. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Of course, like always, there's a lot more stuff coming up. I have some other videos planned. Just a little bit of a preview. I'm going to do one about talking about shipping, because I had to have this car shipped from Florida, and some of the things about what to know about when shipping a car, things to watch out for, stuff like that. And I also want to do another one. It's kind of an update video on the current state of trying to buy a Terminator Cobra. I did one right after I got it last summer of where to buy one, how to finance them, things like that. this is kind of going to be an update because the dynamic of buying these cars has started to change quite a bit. The demand is absolutely insane, so I want to cover that a little bit more in depth and kind of do like an update from that previous video. But that's all for now, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.